If you watched Kamala today, you're asking yourself, what was that about? What does this mean? How do I figure this out? What is going on here? Explain this to me. What was that? Are we winning? Are we losing? You have anxiety. You don't know what's going on. You're overwhelmed with this. You're trying your best to figure out what's happening. It's scary. There's 81 days until the election, and you still don't know what the hell's going on. You can't figure this out because nobody's really explained to you. It's like, what is this? Is Trump winning? Is it okay? Is it, what do we say? Megyn Kelly's jumping in, Candace Owens jumping in, everybody's an expert. Have you ever been in a mental hospital? Have you ever been in the day room? I haven't been there as a patient yet, and it was fascinating. And I'll never forget that. Because the first thing you learn is suspend your own sense of reality. Understand what this means. Understand what this means. Suspend this. This is not usual. Understand what they're saying, why they're saying it. Just calm down, sit back, and do not respond to everything individually. Think of it as a mosaic. This person is speaking complete and total gibberish, and I have gibberish for you left and right. But the first thing I want you to understand, and the most important and critical thing I want you to understand, is something very interesting, very basic, and very critical. If you're going to make it, if you're going to physically make it, and mentally and socially and emotionally make it, one rule, one simple rule. And I will tell you that after this word from our sponsor. There's a revolution happening right now above our heads. It's about to make silver more precious than ever. The sun's power is taking over the world. It's growing so fast, it'll be the biggest source of electricity by the 2030s. Solar. Now, here's the kicker. Every single solar panel needs silver to work. We're talking about a silver paste web in every panel, turning sunlight into power. Smart investors are already making their move, and that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. With a silver IRA, you can surf this incredible wave of growth. It doesn't matter who sits in the White House or what Wall Street does. Solar power is unstoppable, and silver is its secret weapon. As the world goes green, your retirement could be going sterling silver. Don't let this opportunity slip through your fingers in 2024. Visit LionelNationGold.com. You may get up to 10 free brand new 1-ounce silver Trump coins. Listen to that. Or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with every qualifying IRA. That's LionelNationGold.com. Remember, there's always a risk of investment, and there's no guarantee of any kind. The thing you must understand is that Kamala Harris has no plan. She did a very good job today reading the monitor, the teleprompter. Very good job. Very good. She's a good reader. She made some mistakes. She called it price gouging, came out price gauging because she was reading it. Hospitality came out hospitality, things like that. But rule number one, she's not saying this. Rule number one for President Trump. When you speak of the Democrats. She is not the person. It will drive her crazy. Don't blame her. She's following orders. Don't look at what she's saying. She's following orders. She's talking about how the economy's gone bad. What the were you doing for 4 years? This is your economy. She's so bloody stupid, she doesn't understand that the economy she's talking about, bread's up by 50%. You did this. Why? Let me see if I can explain this. You're a moron. She's a blithering idiot. She's a child. She's pretending to be the candidate. Why did they pick her? I don't know. Because they wanted an idiot, or maybe they wanted Chauncey Gardner, or one of the. And we can sit around all day long. All I know is that's what it is. So, President Trump, the first thing you tell everybody is attention. Don't blame her. She's an idiot. She is going to be handed. Do you think she understands anything that she said? She wants to knock 25% off. You just raised the price of the house by 25%. What are you talking about? What are you talking? What do you mean? She is talking, and please do me a favor. Do Uncle Lenny a favor. I don't want you to look stupid. Do not use words like socialist, Marxist, Venezuelan. Venezuelan? Yeah, Venezuelan. What do you know about Venezuelan? Oh, I don't know. It's like, what do you mean? Venezuelan? Well, you know, what's the problem with Venezuela? Well, do you know the problem with Venezuela? Do you know why they're having the problem? Is it because what, they're socialists? Is that what? No. So it's not Marxist. This is, let me say this again. This is a welfare state. This is a giveaway. Socialists are anything but that. They don't just give you stuff. Planned central federal republics and economies do not just give you stuff. It doesn't work like that. Try going to a socialist country and having them just give you stuff. So wrong term. I want to tell people this is not your speed. I don't know what you think socialism is or Marxism, or don't say that. Don't call it that. Don't throw in fascist, totalitarian. People throw these terms out because to them it means no. This is something different. There is no, this is, well, we'll talk about that later. Now, let me give you an idea of something, which is just let's have some fun, shall we? I put together some little moments from today that I wanted you to be aware of. And the first, and this isn't for no particular reason, and I don't really know the order of what I've said. So let me bring these to your attention first of all.
Kamala's.
This is a guy. There is a word full of, okay? And the person who is quintessentially, absolutely, I want to get his name. I always get it wrong. Michael Eric Dyson is so full of, like, you cannot believe. He is septic. If you cut his veins, you know what would pour out of his veins? That's right. Like it would pour out. He is how he lives. He has no blood in his face. He has piles of it. Everything he says, he has been a joke for the longest time. He is a con man. He is a person who is a force, as my friend calls him, a pseudo-intellectual. A man who has a series of machine gun kind of composite orts and quanta of words that he has used, and he never assesses anything, and he doesn't even speak like a human being. Nobody in the history of human, well, listen, apparently they're on with, I guess she's a congresswoman. I don't know her name is. I happen to catch this from CNN, and she calls this Kamala, or as I say it, Kamala, uses her name incorrectly. And then later on, she says, I don't care what her name is. And listen to what this blowhard, this bloviating bull artist responds to.
Kamala's.
Oh, you had it right. You almost got it.
I will say Kamala's name way that I want to.
No, but you mispronounce her and you also misjudge her.
I just did, and I'll do
Wait,
it again.
wait.
That's a refusal to acknowledge her humanity.
If I purposely mispronounce your name, that would not be appropriate.
Policies.
But when you disrespect Kamala Harris by saying you will call her whatever you want, I know you don't intend it to be that way. That's the history and legacy of white disregard for the humanity of black people.
Oh, so now you're calling me racist.
I didn't say. I just said you were
Listen
racist.
to
That is
this.
complete
You don't have
BS.
to intend racism to.
No.
He doesn't even look at her. Notice this when he does it, when he goes into these little memorized indictments, he doesn't make eye contact with her because he's trying to remember what these things are. He has no humanity. He's not even interested in speaking to her. He's interested in remembering what to say. Look, he makes no eye contact.
You are intending that
Your
I am
disrespect
racist,
of Kamala
and
Harris
that
is part and parcel
Isn't that weird?
of disrespect.
Why
It's
can't you just,
offensive, and
Congresswoman,
it's
why can't you
it's
just,
offensive.
why
That
can't
I'm
is
not calling you a
disgusting.
racist.
No,
I'm
you
telling you
are.
what the
You are.
practice is
You
racist.
are. You absolutely are.
This is where the level. This is where the level of this of black intellectual response or whatever is playing with these. That's like somebody saying your pronoun. Excuse me, that's a wrong pronoun. It's a form over substance, and it's like it kills the issue. And the sad part about it is that somebody from Kamala's campaign must be thinking, "Oh, Dyson, shut up. They're going to attribute us with you, you moron. You are immediately despised by people." He has always been like this. I haven't seen him in years because I haven't watched this. And he reminds me why everybody despises him. Listen to this.
No, what's disgusting
That
is
is
your
disgusting.
disrespect of her.
Professor.
This gentleman said,
You know
I
what? You know
didn't know
what's
her name.
disgusting
He's
to
trying
women
to do
is
it.
her disrespect of women. She doesn't know what a woman is. And if 25 years ago,
White women don't have the ability to tell black women who paid the
You
price.
see this? Did you hear this? Thank you for this. This is the example. This is the man who just grates on people's nerves. He is the worst. He is like this. We used to call it militant, not because of his race, but sometimes you see militant trans people who demand that you get it right. My name is not her, it's Zher. And Kamala now has a new list of pronouns. It's that this is where we are today.
Of blood to make this country what it is, to tell them they're not real women.
25
They
years
care
ago.
Notice he doesn't make any eye contact. Why can't he look at a woman? Why can't he confront this woman and look at
Your
her?
babies
25 years
and
ago,
respected
I
your
became
humanity.
the first woman to graduate from the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina. I
So call her
fought my
name
way
right.
through it.
So pronounce her name.
All he cares about. He's saying, I have nothing to say, but I'm going to hang on to this and I'm going to be so tenacious because by God, I don't know what the I'm talking about. I have no earthly idea of the complexity, the modality, the transmutationality of the sentience that is required. He is just a bloviating bull.
Sweat and tears.
So pronounce her name
And
right.
Kamala Harris, if
Kamala,
I were a man,
you said
I
it
will
was
don't call you
say
Nancy.
it
I love it. Keep it up. Whoever you are, Mace, whatever her name is, keep it up.
It's
Come on,
Kamala.
it's
You're
Kamala.
doing this on purpose,
That's
Congresswoman.
disrespectful.
If,
You can't expect people to
if a
respect your
man put
service
on
if
a
you don't
skirt and
respect
walked
hers.
that stage 25 years ago, she
You're a
would have
white
said
woman
she would
disrespecting
have
a
taken
black
that
woman. That is
achievement away from
problematic.
women.
Don't you love
That's
this?
Let me get in
disgusting.
here
In
because
all
I-
parts.
I certainly
Say her name.
take that, but I'm
And
wondering.
a lot of rich history
I'm
comes
wondering
out of my
about
district in
Trump.
South Carolina that I am
Trump is
deeply
Say her name
proud of.
with respect.
Good for her. And don't say the name right, whatever you do. This is the most insignificant, nonsensical, but do not. And turn to this guy and say, look at me. Look me in the eye. Watch what I say. Kamala. What are you going to do about it? This is your argument?
Trump injecting Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that?
Are you going through that? They've got nothing. They're going through this trope again. Oh my God. Why? Because she was Indian her whole life. Have you ever noticed people in your life? Maybe you've known them. They say, "Well, I'm a I've got Native American. I've got Arapaho and Comanche on my mother's side, and full blown Chippewa, and the I said, wait a minute, what? You what? Now you're a Native American? Remember this one? It's like all of a sudden, and you don't think, listen, all I know is the only people making a big deal, it was said in passing. And I'm glad he did it because it threw them off into a tizzy. You know why? Because that's all they have. This identitarian nonsense.
Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
Yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
He did say it.
Okay, well,
This
as
was
a
what,
woman,
two-
I want
She
to weigh
turned
in.
black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. Now she was Indian, all he knew. Now she
Well,
turned
she's of
black.
mixed race, She's of mixed race.
He said that to the National Association of Black Journalists.
Right.
He went to, and he said at the same event where he said he'd done more for black people than any president in history.
Please watch this. Please watch this. Please watch this. Don't think this is a waste of time. This is all these folks have. And I mean the Democrats, the Democrats, the people with Kamala. This is the intelligentsia. This is the highest level, the highest echelons. This is their intellectual SEAL Team 6. And what have we been talking about for the past, whatever, her name?
I guess here's the thing.
When he was president, wages for women were better than they've been in a long time. Wages for blacks were better
The
than they've
lowest
been in a
black
long time.
unemployment rate in
He
history.
did.
It
He
happened
did a
under
lot
Joe
of
Biden.
good. He did a lot of
Congresswoman,
good
let me just finish this
for
to both
people
of you.
from all walks of the
This
country.
doesn't take that much courage, honestly, to just say that was out of bounds.
I don't know what he said. I didn't see
He
the
said
interview.
that she
Come on.
turned black. He questioned whether she was really black. I don't think that's that hard to say. That's out of bounds. Can you say that?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I didn't say it, and I would not
just
say
say
it.
yes.
Good.
Just say yes. Just
All
say
right.
yes.
I just
Just
said
say
we-
yes.
we
Then
are-
they connected
we
to your
are-
inability
Don't say it.
to-
Don't.
We are out of time.
Don't. You're out of
We are out of
time.
time.
It's a cult. They won't say anything.
Don't do it.
against the cult.
Are you
Yes, you
kidding
are.
me?
You are a
My
cult
friend,
Are you
member.
kidding
My
me?
friend,
I have
we
a
are
diverse
out of
district.
If you
of
won't
women
speak
in
out
crime.
against the
I
cult,
This is
then
it.
you're a cult. The cult
Name.
leader is Donald Trump.
Can
We're
you
out of
believe
time
The
at the
fact that you
table.
talk to
Thank
women this way is ridiculous.
You just talked about a black
being
woman that
here.
way.
I got to tell you something. This is it right now. What is her name? Mace? I don't even know who she is. I have no idea. I think she's a con. I love this. Keep it up. Bring her on again. Bring her on again. Bring her on. And the first thing out of her mouth next time is, well, is she black this week or Indian? Drive them crazy on purpose until they realize you're setting me up, aren't you? Exactly. This is where we are today. You're getting upset about this? Do you think somehow, and this is the premier leftist or whatever Democratic channel, do you think anybody who might be undecided learned anything from that? Do you think so? Come on. It was beautiful. I love it. This is the intellectually vacant people. These are children. They're so focused. Black, white, race. That's it. That's it. The beginning, the end. That's all they've got. Dear God. Our good friend Kevin says if DeSantis were the candidate instead of Trump, I suspect we would be talking about historic electoral vote totals. Indeed. And on Crypto Dummy, Big Dick from Chicago says, thanks, Uncle Lenny. Thank you, sir. And Andrew Hessing says, not to get off topic, but in memory today, in memorial, Elvis Presley, a true cultural changer, paved the way. Lennon, Morrison, Zeppelin, many more meet him. I think but memory today in memorial, Elvis. Did Elvis die today? Or I'm sorry, did he die? Or I'd love to know, Andrew, what about Elvis? Did he die today? Is that what we're saying? Thank you. Brad Rung says they are the biggest bunch of race baiters. Well, that's all they have. I'm sorry, I hate to say it. This Dyson is the worst. This is the beginning and the end. One trick pony. Yes, he died today. Elvis would be what? He'd be 89 today, is that it? Yeah, he'd be 89. Be 80. Oh, well, no, yeah, be 89 today. But I remember in 1977, I was in a plane. I remember exactly when they said Elvis had died. And you know what? With all due respect, I was never a big Elvis fan, but I do know what he did historically. Thank you so much. And by the way, can I tell you why I love you? When you write super chats, they're always a guess. It's like, what does that mean? LTDW / bifusual, right? Vince Lombardi, yay or nay? Not sure. Bad scene. Marianne or Ginger. What? What are you talking about? Soul 76 says, that was how I picture a night out with Lionel with his liberal friends. Yes, well, perhaps. But, and I do have many, many liberal friends. I really do. I do. Kelly McKinnon, thank you so much. Now let's jump into the next one, shall we? Are we having fun, kids? Uncle Lenny's got more for you. Here's this one. I don't even know what the hell it is.
Number one.
Oh, yes, this was great. This was a what? By the way, this is CNN too. See, it's got some pretty doggone good stuff here. Listen to CNN. You ready?
Two things. I think number one, she took a lot of far left positions during her first run in 2019 and 2020. She has, temporarily kind of moderated these through some anonymous quotes from aides saying, well, she doesn't really want to ban fracking anymore. She doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that. This new program that she's kind of doing is pretty far left. $25,000, price controls, essentially. That's number one. But the other thing is, kind of conveniently forgot she was vice president for the last 4 years when a lot of the housing market crisis was at its worst.
Yes, she acts like she wasn't. She's so dim-witted. She's such a nitwit. She doesn't understand. It was when she was in I mean, she's got to take credit for this. When Poopy Pants Biden was the president, she doesn't remember. She's just reading this.
First, when inflation was at its worst. So there's a lot of memory holding that. But look, when it comes to the $25K, I mean, you just added $25,000 into every price onto every home price in the country. Because if you're giving that away essentially for free, people will add it into the price.
She has no earthly idea. And listen to this great piece again on CNN. Dig this.
I read your piece and I heard you just mention it. The federal ban.
Now, this is somebody named Catherine. I don't know if they should have their names underneath them. They have all these lines and banners, but she's actually, listen to this, very good.
And on price gouging for groceries, you are scared.
By the way, do me a favor. I know this is I hate to do this. Please, if you're one of these people, don't say groceries. Why people say groceries? My entire life, since I was a kid, that's like fingernails. It's like literally bro. Groceries. No, grocery. Washington. Don't get me started. Washington. We're going to wash the clothes in Washington. Don't say that. And it's not groceries. It's grocery. I'm sorry.
For groceries. You are skeptical of this. Why?
One more time.
Federal ban on price gouging for groceries.
I couldn't tell. I think I'm not sure. I'll give her the benefit.
You are skeptical of this. Why?
Well, first of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. It's like that old line about pornography. I know it when I see it. In the sense that what does it mean to have an excessive price or an excessive profit margin? That seems to be shorthand for a price or a profit margin that bugs me. That seems too high. So it's very hard to pin down what this would actually mean. If you look at the legislation that, as I mentioned, is already in the Senate, led by Senator Warren and Senator Bob Casey and a slew of others, the particular way that this is written, which is likely to be the template for any proposal that Harris would eventually embrace, is especially bad in that it just bans excessive prices, grossly excessive prices, grossly excessive profit margins, and says that the Federal Trade Commission can use any metric it deems appropriate to decide what that would mean, which basically says, like, it's not going to be markets, it's not going to be supply and demand that's determining how much your grocery store charges you for milk or for eggs. It's going to be some bureaucrat in DC, which seems like totally unworkable, first of all, for the FTC to be deciding like how much Kroger charges for eggs in Michigan. But it also would be very bad for markets. We've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before: Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, et cetera. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets.
Don't say black.
Plenty of uncertainty. And beyond that, the specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices because of some of the other language in it. Things like requiring companies, public companies, to disclose in their quarterly reports, their quarterly earnings reports, how they're setting prices, which is a great way to help them collude, which normally we don't want them to do. So anyway, the devil's in the details, I guess, for that bill, but it's really hard for me to imagine any form of legislation that preserves the spirit of what she's proposing that would not be, at best do nothing, at worst cause a lot of harm.
So isn't that wonderful? Good for you. Good for you. Andrew Hessing, by the way, says, yes, died in 1977. Met him in 1976 when I was 7 years old. Ooh, too bad you're not a big fan. Everybody not perfect, literally, bro. Watch Mrs. L. Wow, so brilliant. Actually, absolutely. I wasn't a big fan, but I understand what he did. It was the whole thing. I thought the stage thing with the karate and same thing with. I understand that Milton Berle was Mr. TV, Mr. Television. He did nothing for me too. I'm sorry. The Beatles. I mean, the Beatles are great, but not the way people go crazy over the Beatles. But thank you for that. Mm-hmm. I do like that song. Home to Norfolk, Virginia. But the Promised Land or whatever it was. I like that song he did. I even think he wrote it. But I mean, what are you gonna do? Let's listen to the lady herself, Kamala, and see if you notice anything wrong with this.
A loaf of bread cost 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
And that would be...
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
There you go. See? She is a totong. She reads whatever you give her. She doesn't understand, bro. Literally, bro. She doesn't understand what the hell's going on. And just so that you understand and feel this thing, what she is she does she want to redistribute wealth? Is she a closet, some proto-socialist? I don't know. When she gets on a topic, when she gets on a phrase, she hangs on to it and never lets it go. And you realize she has no idea what she's saying. All she's doing is repeating the line.
About a goal of saying everybody should end up in the same place. And since we didn't start in the same place.
No, everybody should not stop. Everybody should not end up in the same place. No. Race, competition, everybody does not end up in the same place. If that's true, then you and Donald Trump should tie. Where she got this from, because she was given a line and she practices not what it means, not understanding it, but how to say it differently so it sounds like it's her own words.
Some folks might need more. Equitable distribution.
Giving resources.
Distribution. Wait a minute. Hold it.
Based on equity, understanding that we fight for equality, but we also need to fight for equity, understanding not everyone starts out at the same place.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the whole thing. Not everybody starts off at the same place. So therefore, if I do better than you, it's because I started off perhaps maybe at a place that was different than where you started off. Not that I'm better than you. Oh, God, no, that's never the chance. I started off with the advantage of perhaps maybe being better than you.
So there's a big difference between equality and equity. Equality
Yeah.
suggest often everybody should get the same thing.
No.
Well, that often assumes everybody started out in the same place.
No.
As opposed to equity, which is everyone should end up in the same place.
No.
And if you then understand not everybody started out in the same place, you understand some people need more.
You're running for office.
So we all end up in the same place.
You and Trump should be tied.
Right?
No.
We are proud of the fact that equity is one of our guiding principles. Proud of the fact that we understand equality is important, but not everybody starts out on the same base.
Look at the looks on people's faces like, what the f is this woman talking about?
We see that people in our country are having an experience that is not equal.
Yeah.
So when we talk,
look at this crowd. Who's this poor guy on the left here? What is this? There's empty chairs. What did they leave? What the hell is it?
Talk about the work we are doing here together. It is recognizing that and being guided by this principle of what we must do in the spirit and in the interest of equity.
By the way, she's not a communist. She's not a communist. If you talk to a communist, they will laugh at you. Remember, and with all due respect, I love you, man. I love you. And Lois, it goes for you, Lois. She's not a communist. Communists would be furious. They would be insulted by this. They would be insulted. That is not, communism is not a pejorative. I'm just saying. This is just bull is what it is, okay? With a capital B. George Len says, this is no surprise. Kamala Harris is the administration with Jared Bernstein, who can't even explain what a bond is. And he's Biden's economic advisor. I'm sorry. I tried to read this while that thing was there. Thank you for that. But I digress.
To put equity firmly at the center of our economic policy.
No.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies.
Yeah.
When you take into account that they're not starting at the same place
See,
and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit.
It makes
black
no
children,
sense.
black families, black homeowners.
It makes no sense. She has absolutely no idea. She was given this thing to say, and she has no clue. And if you said, wait a minute, we don't start from the same place, what does that mean? What does that mean? If your goal is ultimately excellence or a meritocracy, if that's what you're trying to do, and you're saying we don't start from the same place, well, what do you want to do? On correct post hoc correction? And what does that mean? Is there anyone who wants to go to a doctor? Is there anybody who wants to have a professional basketball team or baseball team that doesn't work on excellence, doesn't work on points, but has a team based upon who needs to win more? It's the old give the trophy to everybody routine. It's this logorrheic word salad that she never ceases or that she can't get away from. Andrew says, I don't even think she practices with her misspeak. Today, you should see these lines like an these lines like an Oscar winner. At some point, she'll believe she's in charge. It's almost like, you're right about that. It's almost like when OJ believed he didn't kill people after a while. And there's one more thing.
In many places, it's too difficult to build, and it's driving prices up. As president, I will work in partnership with industry to build the housing we need, both to rent and to buy.
This is what scares me.
We will take down barriers and cut red tape, including at the state and local levels.
Oh, you know what that is, right? Look at these people clapping in the back. What are you clapping about? What are you clapping about? The red tape. What red tape? Property ownership? Is that what you're talking about? Rezoning? Is that it? What are you clapping about? And by the way, the people behind her is the entire crowd. Did you see these side pictures? This is the entire, even AI. This is the best they can do? Come on, man. Come on.
And by the end of my first term, we will end America's housing shortage by building 3 million new homes and rentals that are affordable for the middle class.
The middle class?
And we will do that together. We will do that together.
What are you talking about? So that means we're also going to go in and we're going to go into places that are like gated communities, or hey, you've got what, an acre and a half? Oh no. You take that back. We're going to put new low-income housing in the middle of your neighborhood, your nice places. We're going to build these and we're going to just give them to people. Here, take it. That's not socialism. That's not communism. That's called welfare state. That's called just give it away. Disrupt the notion of private ownership. And let me tell you something. All you lefties out there, if you want to do this, the first place I'm going to is your gated community. You know, the place with all the Range Rovers? Yeah. With the BLM signs in your front yard and trust the science. I'm going to go in with you. How do you like that? So all you can enjoy this in your hood. You can have this nice low-income housing because we don't start from the same place. Watch them change that tune big time. Soul 76 says, equity and unburdened by is the real KH. Enough said. I like that. Indeed. One more little version. Oh, I'm sorry. Crypto says, when they say don't drink the water, this is the toilet water. Okay, I'm digging it. George Len says she's talking as if she's addressing kindergarten. Well, it's not. She's saying what she knows at the kindergarten level. And finally, this.
You already know what that cost is.
Matt, we had to interrupt you before you were.
I know, and I wanted to hear your answer.
Oh, it was so intelligent.
It was a great response that unfortunately we had to cut away from. But now that you've heard the speech, what stands out to you as the most clear and effective line of attack that we're likely going to hear from Republicans as a response?
Which is another way of saying the truth.
Two things. I think number one, she took a lot of far left positions during her first run in 2019 and 2020. Yeah. She has, temporarily kind of moderated these through some anonymous quotes from aides saying, well, she doesn't really want to ban fracking anymore. She doesn't want to do this, doesn't want to do that. This new program.
We already heard this one before. Okay. Now, let's talk about what the president does. What does the president do? Ladies and gentlemen, let's start off as we normally do by looking at the RCP roll. And we see a couple of differences here. A couple of things changing. First, in the RCP poll average, Harris up by a point. 5-way RCP average, Harris up by 1.1. Top battlegrounds, Trump up by 0.6. Favorability, still Harris 4.8. Favorability, what does that mean? I have no idea. Battlegrounds, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, North Carolina, and Georgia. Harris up by a point in Wisconsin. I thought she was doing higher. So I think that might be going down a little bit. Pennsylvania, it's a tie. We'll see about that. That's going to be interesting. And that's going to be the first debate. Michigan, Harris, 2.1. She went down a little bit, like 0.3 of a point or so. Arizona, Trump by a point. Nevada, Trump 3.5. North Carolina, 2.5. Georgia, 0.6. Trump. So remember, this is where it goes. This is where it's happening. Don't forget, we're looking at 111 toss-up in the Electoral College, and that's where we are right there. Now, in the meantime, what the president needs to do is exactly what he's doing. But I want you to understand something, dear friend. I always want you to think about this. Don't ever let this out of your sight. Remember what's happening. Remember very clearly. What is going to be that information which changes people's minds? Again, I'm sorry. Uncle Lenny is reminding you of this stuff, and it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse. You've got three groups of people. One, people who are going to vote for Trump like me. I don't care if he's convicted of serial killing. He could be the next Richard Speck. I don't care. I'm voting for him. Good. Number two, There's another group of people who say, I'm not voting for him no matter who. I'm voting for the Democrat, period. Kamala, anybody. Tampon Timmy, doesn't matter. In fact, it's not even Republicans that they hate, it's Trump. Now, in the middle, you've got these people who are saying, you know what, I'm really not too sure about this. I'm really not too sure. I'm not too sure about this, and I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm not sure about this, but I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something else. I don't know about this one. She's not doing anything for me. This, if you think that did anything, if you think that is going, oh, I hate these things. Excuse me. I hate those reaction things. If you think that did anything, you're out of your mind. Most people are saying, okay, that's nice. When you talk economics to people, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. They hear words like inflation is bad, prices, this, 25% price gouging, and they talk about a loaf of bread. She doesn't know the first thing about the loaf of bread. And again, this has all happened during her account. It's going to get really tough for her. I'm telling you this right now. Wait until you see what we're hearing about the protests that are going to take place in Chicago. The last time there was a Democratic convention in Chicago, it was a disaster. What is she going to say? And what is she going to do to the number of people who were involved in this? The number of people who are going to be saying specifically, what is your position regarding Israel and the Middle East? You don't hear this. Not one person on any of these. Not Fox, certainly not Fox, not CNN, nobody. Nobody's bringing this up. The world is watching this. The world is watching this. You just had the president of Colombia quit before students came back. This is the biggest story in nobody's even, nothing. Do you think she put her on the spot? Mr. President, do what I'm telling you. The first question out of your mouth is put her on the spot. Say, do you believe this is genocide, yes or no? And use the genocide word. Don't even kid around. Ask her a simple yes or no. Do you believe it, yes or no? And then wait. Because they're going to, Stephanopoulos is going to jump in to try to help. And you say, back off. Let her answer the question. If you think being president is being able to pick and choose the questions you want to tell, you don't know what it's like. Do you think you're going to tell Xi Jinping or Putin that's not that question wasn't agreed upon? Come on, answer the question, yes or no. I'm telling you, she won't. We must start off. Don't give me that equity crap. Answer my question. Do you think yes or no? Do you think? What are you going to do about this? You've got another, $18-20 billion? Do you understand what you're doing? What are you going to do if you find out all of a sudden Hezbollah, Houthis, somebody they retaliate against you and they send some contingent, some rogue cell or some cell here? What are you going to do? Do you have any idea of the complexity of this? Do you have any idea? What do you think is going? Do you know what's happening? You want to if Hezbollah unleashes its missiles, do you know who these people are? Do you have any idea? Can you spell Hezbollah? Can you pronounce the Houthis correctly? This woman doesn't know anything. So you've got to expose her. Next, do you believe it's fair for a man to beat the hell out of a woman inside of a boxing ring and then give him a medal? Yes or no? Do you believe men and women are different? Yes or no? Yes or no? I see you were going through this pronoun crap. Are you serious about this? Are you perpetuating this pronoun? Do you feel cool somehow? Do you feel like, hey, they're going to like this? Auntie Mamala is going to get into your pronouns. That's the most stupid thing in the world, and everybody in this country knows it is. We laugh at that. We're done with that. I got your pronoun. That's my pronoun. Mine is thou and your majesty. That's my pronoun. Or are you done with this hackneyed? You don't believe that. Do you and Doug sit around at night and say, hey, what's your pronoun? Come on. Do you think for yourself? Did they hand this to you? Did you write this speech of yours? Put her on the spot. I know you. I know all about you. And listen, honey, we know your story. Believe me, we know your story. And I'm not going to get into it because Eric Miles Dyson might get upset about it. But we know where you're from, honey. And we know what you've been through. And we know why you're here. And let me tell you something, in the whole group of Americans, this woman doesn't know diddly about anything. She's here under some, you want to call it DEI, IUD, IED. I don't give a damn what you call it. She's here because she's going to sign whatever they tell her. She repeats the same phrase over and over again. Untethered by the past, unabashed by the whatever the hell this stuff is. She's a moron. She's a blithering idiot. You know it. I know it. We all know it. So listen, America, if you think this is great, you have her sit across from Xi Jinping. Have you ever seen this guy? He has one facial expression, and it never changes. Let her do this. She starts that giggling, that cackling. You ever met Putin before? Oh, that'll be a good one. Oh, that'll be great. Oh, my God. Let's see what she does. Tell him about starting off equally again. Give him that line. Go ahead. Tell him. He'll love it. He won't know what the hell you're talking about, but neither do we. How about Erdogan? How about some other people? How about a lot of people who are just, I don't think you know what you're doing. Because let me tell you something, honey, you don't have the fire in your belly. This is not something you've always wanted. You want the acclaim. You want the love. You want the glory. You want all that stuff. You want to be loved. You want to, you want to walk around with your iPhone in your eye and hand it to an assistant. And you want to go and you want to wave to people and feel the love. And you and that freaky, weird Timmy Tampon with his hand dancing and all that. Yeah, I know what you want to do. You're a fraud and you're a phony, and we know it. And let me tell you something right now. After that first debate, it's going to be brutal. So listen to me. You sit tight and you wait. This isn't even close to being over with. And to people like Megyn Kelly, do me a favor. Shut up. Candace Owens, shut up. Who in the hell is Candace Owens saying, I don't know about the energy? Shut up with your energy. You don't know the first thing about what you're talking about. I am so sick of these yammering platform big mouths who have not a clue as to what's going on, but they all of a sudden they're an expert. Who in the hell is Candace Owens? Her biggest challenge was what? Ben Shapiro? And now she's what? An expert on what? What do you know? And you're criticizing the president. Well, I should do this. Oh, there's room for criticism, but this is a part that gets me. Oh, why am I listening to you? What? Tell me how this thing works. Let me tell you something. I don't think you, and I'll be the first one. I've told you there's some things that Trump does that I think are just stupid. But overall, there's nobody like him. You haven't even seen this yet. She's going to go to that stupid. They're going to put pops at the end. You see that? He's not. It's going to be weird. You're going to hear these stupid. You're going to hear Barack Obama speak. It's like Barack every time you've heard before. You're going to come. History is made. Yeah. Hillary Clinton's going to. Oh, that's a real yawner. Hillary Clinton. Would somebody please tell Hillary, guess what? It's over. It's over. Nobody likes you. Nobody. Why do you keep showing up, you and your muumuus and your oven mitt, these outfits? Would you, Hillary, please go to Chappaqua, walk around the woods with your bottle of box wine and shut the hell up. It's over. It's through. Who else are you going to have? The Democratic Party. What do you have to offer? Barack Obama? Enough. Joe Biden? Don't tell me Clooney's going to show. I hope Clooney's not going to be near Joe Biden. What did these Democrats, have you ever known people before? Maybe you remember them from high school. They thought they were like the cool kids or something. Gwig says Biden restarted diversity zones, signing an executive order day one. Destruction of communities is here in Houston suburbs. I know he is. What that man did to this country, it will take generations to undo. You got it? You got what I'm saying? Okay. All right, you knuckleheads. God bless you. All right, my friends. Let Uncle Lenny up there. Edie Crowley says, Mr. Rell, I wish my brain could keep up. We love you. Oh, I love you too. Honey, do we have that letter? Oh, here we go. No, do we have that letter from my gift today? Do we have that? I got it. Look at this. Here's our friend. This is our friend. I'm just going to give you the first name. I'm just going to give you the first name. I'm not going to mention. I'm just going to say this is Troy. Okay. Troy makes this beautiful piece. This is the monkey and the monkey's dad. Look at this press. I got this beautiful piece of artwork. I want to thank you for that. It adorns my table. I love this. I'm just going to walk up and say, don't make me use this. Don't make me use this. Thank you. You and your wife, I believe, says, greeting from the Conspiratorium family. My wife and I are big fans and avid listeners. Thank you for this. I will cherish this forever. I thank you for that. Very, very nice. Very beautiful. Soul 76 says, rumors are Pops might pull a 2016 Ted Cruz at the convention. He's not going to pull anything. Nothing's going to happen. He's done. It's over with. Why? Because they're threatening. You see today how they're bringing up stories about Hunter. Hunter was still contacting people, right? Que mala? El mono, monito, ¿me entiende? El mono, the monkey. The monkey's dead. I love this. All right, dear friends. So listen, do me a favor. Are you following Mrs. L? Follow Mrs. L on YouTube. Follow her, Lynn's Warriors. Do what I say. Follow her, my friends. Follow her, follow her, follow her. Wherever she goes, listen to this critical message. Lynn's Warriors on YouTube. So Soul 76 Can, Edie Crowley, Gwig, Phil, George Lenz, Crypto, Domini, Big Dick from Chi-Town, Andrew Hessing, Kelly McKinnon, Brad Rung, Andrew, of course, and our man, Kevin, thank you. Thank you immensely for all of your excitement, your fun, your brotherhood, and your love. We're going to get this thing done, my friend. All right. Have a great and a glorious night. Thank you so much. Don't ever change me that sincerely. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. per usual, right off the bat. So be right here. Thank you for watching. I mean that sincerely. Until then, my friends, as we always say, don't forget, as our friend reminds us, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.